We continuously strive to improve and strengthen our processes, particularly as we expand and diversify our tourism sector under our Wawasan 2035 or Brunei Vision 2035. Integrity is a crucial foundation for maintaining trust across all sectors, including tourism among our people, foreign investors, visitors, tourists, and agencies. Upholding integrity is a key step to maintain Brunei Darussalam's reputation as the abode of peace, providing a peaceful and safe environment for everyone. Integrity is a continuous commitment, and to fight corruption, it is more important than ever for efforts to be international. The high-level principles on combating corruption and strengthening integrity in the tourism sector are timely, and we believe provides a framework to address this need, making it important for us to support this effort. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to the discussions ahead of us and are keen to learn from our friends to improve ourselves and be a participant member in the international fight against corruption. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and bless us and reward us for our efforts. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Syed, for your enlightening words. I now welcome Dr. Syed Muhammad Mahdi Gamami, Deputy Minister and Secretary of the National Authority for the Convention Against Corruption of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Dr. Syed Muhammad Mahdi Gamami.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, distinguished delegated ladies and gentlemen, Salamun alaikum. It is a great honor to make some remark on behalf of the Government of Islamic Republic of Iran as this important session of Organization of Islamic Cooperation on the issue of strengthening integrity and combating corruption in tourism sector. Mr. Chairman, at the outset, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the government of Maldives and Saudi Arabia for their commendable hosting of this important meeting in the beautiful city of Villa Nautica, and to the OIC Secretariat for their tireless effort in ensuring the successful organization of this event. You can be assured of our delegates' full support under your guidance. Tourism is a vital economic driver for many OIC member states, fostering job creation, culture exchange, and sustainable development. However, corruption, whether in the form of bribery, fraud, or unethical practices, poses a serious threat to the sector of growth, eroding public trust and deterring investment. Tourism in today's world is more than just a drive economic growth. It serves as a bridge connection culture, a source of livelihood for millions, and a key contributor to the sustainable development agenda. However, it is a potential threatened when corruption infiltrates the sector, eroding trust, destroying development, and marginalize the very community it is meant to support. As a nation firmly committed to the value of transparency, accountability, and justice, we view integrity not only as a policy imperative, but as a moral and a spiritual duty rooted deeply in the teaching of Islam. The Holy Quran reminds us in Surah Al-Baqarah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ بِالْبَاطِلِ وتدلوا بها إلى حكام لتأكلوا فريقا من أموال الناس بالإثم وأنتم تعلمون. This divine principle guides our approach toward governance and development, including the tourism sector, in order to have suitable, sound, and corruption-free environment for tourism, adhering to ethical principles, respect for authentic culture, and international agreement are of great importance. Tourism can serve a lucrative industry, fostering economic growth and joint investment among Islamic countries. However, without transparency, weak accountability, weak legal security, not adequate oversight, and not cooperative agreement, it may instead become a breeding ground for corruption and in their collaboration among OIC member states. As we gather today, we are committed to transparency, accountability, and good governance in tourism. The Makkah Al-Mukarramah Convention that is approved by the Governmental Council in Iran and is under legislative processing in the parliament, in Iranian parliament, along with global important instruments such as the UN Convention Against Corruption, provide a strong foundation for our collection effort in combating corruption in tourism sector. Mr. Chairman, the tourism industry in the Islamic Republic of Iran hold immense potential for growth and expansion. According to the World Tourism Organization, Iran ranked 10th in the Asian and historical attraction and 5th in the natural attraction globally. Combating corruption in tourism is a top priority for the Islamic Republic of Iran. In order to ensure integrity across the tourism value chain, following measures have been taken. 1. The establishment of comprehensive monitoring system for tourism facilities by Ministry of Cultural Heritage, Tourism and Handicraft. 2. The development of the Iran tourism system for online licensing for tourism facility. 3. Strengthening legal and institutional framework. We have reinforced anti-corruption law, grown tourism investment and licensing. Independent oversight body are being improved with their mandate and tools to ensure compliance and further accountability. 4. Capacity building and ethical training. We are investing in the training to tourism professional and public servant to promote professional ethics, to embed a culture of ethics and service excellence while raising awareness about corruption and its consequences. Mr. Chairman, we are of the view that enhancing effective and continuous cooperation among OIC member states in promoting integrity and combating corruption should be proposed jointly and systematically. Therefore, I would like to propose formation of permanent specialized working group to address cases where tourists, particularly citizens of OIC member states, encounter legal and regulation challenge, uncodified law, suspect corruption cases, exploitation of special circumstances, or conflict of interest. While we are proud of the step taken nationally, we firmly believe that corruption in tourism is a transnational challenge, and it requires collective response from the OIC community. We therefore propose establishment of an OIC tourism integrity network where a member state can share best practices, digital tools, and anti-corruption strategies tailored to tourism. To safeguard the integrity of our tourism sector is to protect our future. It is to protect the job of our people, the dignity of the land, and the sanctity of our value. It is ensure that our doors are open not just tourism but to justice, opportunity, and trust. As we move forward, let us remember that corruption is not just a legal failure, it is a moral one. And integrity is not just a government policy, it is an Islamic principle, a societal responsibility, and a sacred trust. May Allah grant us the wisdom, courage, and unity to overcome corruption and build a tourism sector that is clean, transparent, and worthy of Ummah. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Gamami, for your enlightening address. We are now pleased to invite Mr. Nazim Rajabov, Deputy Prosecutor General of the Republic of Azerbaijan and Director of the Anti-Corruption Directorate, to deliver his remarks. Mr. Nazim Rajabov.
Thank you. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, we'd like to express my gratitude for the chance to take part in such an important event. The Republic of Azerbaijan, with a favorable geographic location, rich cuisine, ancient historical monuments, and a stable political environment, has become an attractive place for tourism. Azerbaijan has 9 out of the 11 climate times in the world, which makes our country suitable for the development of both winter and summer tourism. Because of the factors, the number of tourists visiting our country has significantly increased in recent years. In 2023, the number of foreign tourists exceeded 1.4 million. In 2024, it has already reached nearly 1.90 million. This means an annual growth of more than 30%. The same positive trend has continued in the first 4 months of 2025. In addition, ongoing economic growth and political stability have enabled our country to successfully host numerous international events in recent years. For example, Azerbaijan has successfully hosted the first European Games, the Eurovision Song Contest, the Formula One Grand Prix, and the COP29 Climate Conference. In addition, the 29th Annual Conference and General Meeting of the International Association of Prosecutors was organized in Baku last year. This year, on May 19 to 23, the 6th plenary meeting and the 10th session of the Governance Committee of the United Nations Global Operational Network of Anti-Corruption Law Enforcement authorities will also be held in Baku. However, unfortunately, along with the development of tourism, some violations and cooperation-related offences are also observed in this field. Investigative materials show that corruption mostly happens through the misuse of state budget funds allocated to tourism projects, bribery by officials and exchange for services, or companies taking money from citizens under the pretense of helping them get visas to work or study abroad, often involving fake documents. In recent years, the Anti-Corruption General Directorate with the Prosecutor General of the Republic of Azerbaijan has reviewed 23 cases related to corruption in the tourism sector and conducted criminal investigations in 11 of them. As a result, 12 individuals and 8 legal entities were brought to criminal responsibility. Since this sector covers many areas, our directorate not only investigates officials' actions but also actively engages in preventive measures. Additionally, the legal framework for the protection of whistleblowers, those who report corruption, has been improved to ensure their safety and rights. Assessing and managing corruption risks is crucial. According to the National Action Plan 2022 and 2026, and with help from international experts, an advanced methodology has been developed to identify and prevent corruption risks in public institutions. The law on the fight against corruption now requires all public entities to address this risk. Moreover, the legal framework for protecting whistleblowers has been strengthened. We also place strong emphasis on international cooperation and welcome experience sharing with countries represented at this forum. I'm confident the forum will be a success and wish all participants productive discussions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Deputy PG, for your thoughtful statement. Please welcome Mr. Sohail Nasir, Deputy Chairman of the National Accountability Bureau of Pakistan, to address the forum. Mr. Sohail Nasir.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. First of all, my special gratitude to the forum and the organizers to arrange such an attractive gathering for discussion on a very important topic, and I am also thankful for providing this floor for sharing my views. Ladies and gentlemen, National Accountability Bureau is the apex anti-corruption agency of Pakistan with a mandate to eliminate corruption through a holistic three dimensions strategy of awareness, prevention, and enforcement. NAB is committed to operational excellence and transparency while creating an encouraging environment for business community that includes the tourism sector. Pakistan is possessed with great deal of tourist potentials and is a castle of various attractions. Ladies and gentlemen, today we stand at the crossroads of our shared Islamic heritage and common future, where the purity of our faith must meet the integrity of our tourism economies. We are conscious of the fact that the corruption minimizes tourist requirements. We cannot ignore that corruption leads to security concerns, and we have come across such challenges in near past that reduce the numbers of tourists to various jurisdictions. We also cannot deny that because of corruption, the efforts of domestic and foreign investments are defeated. Last but not least, corruption in tourism attacks the economic growth of a country and reduces the employment opportunities too. Pakistan, while intending to take immediate revolutionary steps in its policies and laws, is firm to say that we will not allow the eroding influence of corruption to throttle its growth and to blemish its image. As the tourism is a universal subject and facing challenges of corruption, so all we have to show our collective commitments to win this battle. Everyone has to work hand in hand in line with the endorsed high-level principles and OIC Makkah Mukarramah Convention. Ladies and gentlemen, we can safeguard this golden goose by embracing transparency, enforcing accountability, and fostering culture of integrity within the tourism sector, from government officials to business owners and to service providers. To conclude, I want to say, let us live here today with more than just a resolution, with a bond of integrity which will echo through every hotel, lobby, every visa counter, and every heritage site we protect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nasir, for your meaningful remarks. I now invite Ms. Fatim Abdul Karim Sumaila, Deputy Controller General of the Independent Anti-Corruption Authority of Chad, to take the floor. Ms. Fatim Abdul Karim Sumaila.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Monsieur le secrétaire général de l'Organisation de la coopération islamique, Monsieur le président de la Commission nationale de lutte contre la corruption du Royaume d'Arabie saoudite, Monsieur le président de la Commission anticorruption de la République des Maldives, Mesdames et Messieurs les responsables des institutions,
Ladies and gentlemen, officials of these commissions and authorities, and also of the tourism sector, distinguished delegate chiefs, and it is an honor and it is our gratitude to be expressed here that I am here with you in this Saudi-Maldivian forum in order to speak about anti-corruption in the tourism sector. This forum is of very paramount importance for our country. In our country, it is a continuous struggle against corruption in all sectors, and particularly in the tourism sector. I also would like to thank very warmly, in the name of the Chad Republic, Saudi authorities and Maldivian authorities, for having organized this forum and for the warm welcoming that we received. Chad is a country full of resources and potentials in terms of natural resources and cultural resources. Tourism in Chad is extremely important, and it is a pillar of economic growth and development. It creates jobs for the youth. Unfortunately, this sector is actually impacted by corruption and by piloting mechanisms, and thanks to the continuous commitment of many authorities in our country, and via the Independent Authority on Anti-Corruption, Chad deployed important efforts in order to reinforce judiciary institutions and in order to promote transparency in the public administration. The adoption of laws and regulations are very strict, and also the establishment of internal mechanisms promoted the struggle against corruption and reduced corruption effectively. Civil society, media, and religious authorities, in addition to the Anti-Corruption Commission, together implemented a sensitization program in order to sensitize citizens on the negative consequences of corruption and on the importance of integrity. But despite all these efforts of the government, Chad is facing important challenges. Like many other countries, our nation is confronted with policies that are very deeply established and that need more attention. In the tourism sector, we could mention mainly corruption that faces growth and foreign investors. We hope for this forum to be an opportunity for our country and for other OIC member states in order to implement and to establish transparency mechanisms and accountability mechanisms that would allow for a clearer vision on integrity and to promote integrity and to face corruption. Each of our countries cannot fight corruption by itself, so cooperation and the exchange of good practices are crucial in order to achieve our common objectives. We need to work together via bilateral initiatives and multilateral initiatives, and in order to exchange information and expertise in order to improve our strategies against corruption. We hope for this forum to be successful and to suggest a number of solutions to our countries in the sector of tourism, in order to have more attraction to visitors and to also offer memorable experiences while respecting ethics and while working and promoting on sustainable development. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Deputy Controller, for your address. Please welcome Mr. Safraz Ahmad Shadood, Ambassador of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana to the State of Qatar. Mr. Safraz Ahmad Shadood.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Cooperative Republic of Guyana wishes at the outset to express its sincere gratitude to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation for hosting this important meeting. We are particularly heartened by the focus on integrity and good governance within the tourism sector, an issue that is not only timely, but crucial to ensuring the long-term sustainability and credibility of this vital industry. It is in this context that Guyana welcomes this meeting's focus, but we believe this conversation must not stop at mere sensitization or raising awareness. Instead, we urge the OIC to take bold and necessary steps of developing a comprehensive framework of ethical and legal standards to guide the tourism sector across its member states in keeping with international standards. Such a framework would only serve as a compass for the development and management of tourism, ensuring that integrity and good governance are not aspirational ideals, but built-in pillars of our systems. Among the principles we would encourage the OIC to consider, we highlight the following: is the establishment of a predictable and non-discriminatory environment for investors. Investors in the tourism sector must feel assured of transparency, consistency, and treatment under the law. This is key to attracting the kinds of long-term, responsible investments that are essential for developing high-quality tourism infrastructure and services. Second, there must be robust regulations to guard against fraud and misrepresentation, particularly in subsectors such as educational tourism, health tourism. Misleading promotional claims or false assurances can not only endanger lives and careers, but can also bring disrepute to countries and institutions. Third, we must establish protective firewalls against the infiltration of the sector by illicit activities, most notably human trafficking. The unfortunate reality is that in some parts of the world, the hospitality and tourism industry has been exploited as a cover for exploitative and criminal enterprises. Fourth, we must ensure the fair and decent treatment of workers. Too often, those who form the backbone of this sector, hospitality staff, tour guides, transport operators, and others, are vulnerable to low wages, long hours, unsafe working conditions, and limited job security. Integrity in tourism must extend to labor standards with mechanisms
in place to prevent exploitation and promote equitable working environments. Excellencies, the development of such a framework by the OIC can be important and long-lasting, and make a long-lasting contribution to the integrity of good governance and tourism globally. It can serve as a benchmark not only for member states, but for the entire international community. Guyana, for its part, has identified tourism as a key growth pole in our national development strategy. With our unparalleled biodiversity, rich cultural heritage, and growing interest in eco and adventure tourism, we see tremendous opportunity for sustainable tourism that benefits our people and protects the environment. We therefore encourage greater investment by OIC member states and private entities in Guyana's tourism sector. We are working to ensure that our own regulatory environment is investment-friendly, transparent, and built on the principles of good governance. In doing so, we hope to offer a model that aligns with the very values this meeting seeks to promote. In conclusion, Guyana stands ready to support and to contribute to any collective effort by the OIC to craft and implement an ethical and legal framework that guides and governs the development of tourism. I thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Shadud, for your address. Next, I invite Sheikh Baba Ahmed, Judge at the Ministry of Justice of Mauritania, to present his remarks. Mr. Sheikh Baba Ahmed.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السيد حسين إبراهيم طه، الأمين العام لمنظمة التعاون الإسلامي، معالي السيد آدم شامل، رئيس هيئة النزاهة مكافحة الفساد في جمهورية المالديف، سعادة السيد مازن إبراهيم الكهموس، رئيس هيئة الرقابة ومكافحة الفساد نزاهة بالمملكة العربية السعودية، السادة الحضور المشاركون الأفاضل، في البداية لابد أن أقدم الشكر الجزيل باسم حكومة بلدي
My thanks in the name of the government of my country to the organizers of this important event and for the invitation that was sent to us by the organizers. And we would like to thank them for the selection of this important and delicate theme that, and as we all know, anti-corruption and the fight against corruption is something extremely important and that requires more research. Ladies and gentlemen, the Islamic Republic of Mauritania has important tourism resources, including natural resources like Saharas, deserts, beaches, and natural reserves, and also cultural resources like, for example, schools, mobile schools, and in addition to historical monuments, and which are also classified by UNESCO as World Heritage. In the field of tourism, our country has a number of natural reserves, and including Hargeen Reservation and the National Reservation of Darwin and Auligat Reservation. Also, in our country, we also have a beach on the Atlantic Ocean, of 600 kilometers length. And in terms of heritage, we also do have 4 historical cities: Walada to the extreme east, Tashrid in the center, Taganat, and east of Wadan, in addition to Mudun Bani Saleh. And among the activities that aim at developing tourism in our country, the government and the Republic of Mauritania is organizing an annual meeting and forum that actually takes place each time in one of these 4 cities. And during this International World Forum, there is an opportunity for cultural contests and also contests for poetry, including standard Arabic poetry, but also dialect poetry, in addition to other activities and that are related to the Islamic heritage and Islamic history in the country. And it was called the Bilad Sa'iba. Before it was called the Shaqiqa. These are the historical names of our country before the French colonization. Speaking about tourism is relatively related to these, of course, accomplishments, but also we need to speak about some drawbacks and shortcomings of tourism in our country. However, our country also is focusing on cultural tourism first. So Mauritania is one of the forts of Islamic heritage and culture. It is famous for its encyclopedia and its scholars, Islamic scholars, and who were radiant in the Maghreb, but also in the Mashraq, the Muslim world. And our poet says that our country is also a school where Islam is being taught. These schools that work under tents and sometimes using traditional ways and for example, using for candles for light, for example, and despite these difficult difficult circumstances, we produced a number of important scholars, and our Saudi brothers here confirm that as they nod their heads. In Jordan also they know that, and our brothers in Turkey also know that. So we are not speaking about something that is not known it's known in Africa, and these scholars and ulama also took the torch of fiqh and Islam, and of course to take it into other continents. And among other tourism attractions in our country, Medina Chakil, or city of Shaqit, which is classified as World Heritage, World Cultural Heritage, and it was an important commercial center across the Sahara, and it is one of the oldest cities in the region, and the whole country was also named after it before the French. It is to the east, and about 800 kilometers from it there is the city of Wadan, which is also classified as World Heritage. And thanks to the efforts of partners, there was a renovation and reconstruction of these cities, and mainly the street of the 40 scholars or 40 ulamas across the city, and where every 30 meters you find the home of a famous scholar. In addition to the clay homes that were reconstructed and renovated sometimes, and this city was famous for its very marvelous architecture and very rich culture. The population there, the inhabitants, were known for their generosity and for their advice. They were offering important advice, and it was a very peaceful city. From its name, Wadan, it is like the combination of two words, or the intertwining of two words or small rivers, and also it's also known for its palm trees and dates of good quality. There is also an annual festival for dates, in Taganet, in the center of the city, and the objective of this festival is to promote cultural tourism with activities related to the productions of these areas. When it comes to environmental tourism, we also have a diversity of environmental areas and sites in the south and in the west-south, which, of course, has become one of the most important destinations for tourism in the country, including the Argil Basin Reservation, which is one of the most important sites of its kind in the world, and it was classified by UNESCO. And it is the home for millions of migratory birds. And in Madania, the people who love the environment and love nature, and for scientists and scholars, they would find what they want in this area. In addition, there is also the park on the borders with Senegal, and it is one of the cross-border natural reserves with Senegal, and it is known for its biodiversity and mainly for migratory birds. The climate of Mauritania is dry and a Saharan climate, and it attracts an increasing number of tourism in addition to tourists from the Arab world and mainly from the Gulf countries, and there is also the trip by the railroad. That while this is one of the activities that are aimed at developing attraction, and it runs over 600 kilometers. And also there are caravans, camel caravans in Adran, and it is an opportunity to explore the Sahara, and it's also an experience of its kind for the camel riding, and also to discover and explore Sahara dunes and oases, in addition to the biodiversity of the area, in addition to caverns and other historical monuments. While speaking about all these attractions in Mauritania, we cannot separate that from the fight against terrorism in our country. And for 10 years, our country, of course, suffered from the problem of terrorism, and this is what stopped the tourism activities. It was one of the reasons why we fought terrorism, and this phenomenon represented a big obstacle and a big barrier to tourism. And now things are improving, alhamdulillah, and we had a national strategy that is multi-sectoral, multilateral, and this allowed for the elimination of a big number of terrorist groups and to offer more opportunities for tourism. Today, our country is working on producing and creating a risk management policy related to terrorism and the fight against terrorism in the field of tourism. Thank you very much, dear participants, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Judge, for your statement. We now welcome Mr. Muhammad Ahmad Moomin, Secretary General of the Independent Anti-Corruption Commission of Somalia, to deliver his address. Mr. Muhammad Ahmad Moomin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All protocol observed. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of Somali government, the Anti-Corruption Commission of Somalia, and my fellow delegates, I extend our deepest gratitude to the Maldives government for hosting us at Villa Nautica for the and for the generous invitation and hospitality we have received. It's both privilege and pleasure for me and my country, Somalia, to participate this important forum aimed at enhancing integrity and combating corruption in the tourism sector. The Anti-Corruption Commission of Federal Government of Somalia is one of the independent anti-corruption commissions. Independent commissions established under Article 110 of Somali Provisional Constitution. The establishment law was passed in 2019, and the commission became operational in 2021. In our short existence, we have achieved several important milestones, including signing and ratifying international and continental conventions such as UNCAC, African Union Convention Preventing and Combating Corruption, and the Arab Convention Anti-Corruption. We have also applied the membership of IACA, Eastern Africa Anti-Corruption Authorities. The federal government of Somalia views this forum as a crucial platform to address the challenges and obstacles facing the tourism sector, particularly corruption and related threats. We fully recognize the importance of protecting the tourism sector from corruption to ensure our nations and continents can benefit from its economic potential free from corruption practices. The tourism sector is vital for economic growth, job creation, public service, delivery. Combating corruption in this sector requires efforts from OIC member states and international partners to support nations in developing tailored mechanisms. This should include monitoring system, specific regulation and procedures, as well as specialized training and capacity building for investigators and anti-corruption institutions, as well as tourism authorities. We must establish a system that promotes integrity, transparency, and fairness in procurement process within tourism, including population information about contracts and bidding processes. Conflict of interest policies must be implemented, and national land law should follow international standards to ensure transparency of land management. Tourism agencies should create a platform for public engagement with civil society and private sector actors to safeguard integrity in the land and resource allocation. Last but not least, in my conclusion, we eagerly anticipate the success of this forum and valuable outcome that will contribute to shaping anti-corruption practice in the tourism sector, both now and in the future. I thank you all for participation and extend a special appreciation to the organizer of this forum, including Saudi Arabia authorities, as well as Maldives anti-corruption authorities. I thank you all.
Thank you, Secretary General, for your contribution. I now invite Mr. Majid Abdullah Al-Gahtani, Director of the Legal Affairs Department of the Administrative Control and Transparency Authority of Qatar, to address the forum. Mr. Majid Abdullah Al-Gahtani.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أصحاب السعادة، رؤساء هيئات مكافحة الفساد، ممثلي المنظمات الدولية، أصحاب المعالي،
Excellencies,
السعادة، رؤساء وأعضاء الوفود
heads
المشاركة،
of delegation,
سيداتي السادة الحضور الكرام.
ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all,
طيب لي أن أتوجه بالشكر
I'm
الجزيل
pleased to convey gratitude and appreciation to the government of Maldives for warm hospitality and to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for its sponsorship of this important occasion, which brings together an elite of intellectuals and policymakers and experts from countries of the OIC to discuss the issue of transparency and integrity in tourism. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the issue of integrity and transparency has become an indispensable in inviting investment in the public and private sectors. And this forum is being held at a very important time, at an opportune time to discuss the issue of tourism and to discuss and develop the issue and to bring together the public and private sector, and also to build capacities of individuals. And in this context, the state of Qatar is committed to be among the pioneering countries in this sector through the wide leadership of Sheikh Tamim Thani, the Emir of the country, who has made integrity a critical point of the Vision 2030 of the state of Qatar. The state of Qatar has tried to develop its legislations consistent with international practices, and the oversight and anti-compulsion system has also developed systems that seeks to deepen the culture of integrity in all sectors. The conduct of public sectors workers has been enacted with regard to access to information. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the commitment of the state of Qatar to promote international cooperation and combating corruption, we had the pleasure of hosting the second anti-corruption meeting in the OIC member states in November last year. And this event was a high-level platform to exchange views and to promote joint action. And we also honored that the state of Qatar is about to host the 11th session of the contracting parties of UNCAC of the United Nations in December of this year, by God's grace. And this reflects the commitment of the state of Qatar as a leading international center for the support of transparency at the level of at the international level. The tourism sector creates job opportunities, and it requires a lot of the issue of integrity, especially with public procurement. This is why it is important to exchange successful experiences and to adopt best practices, particularly with the issue of culture and society. The issue of transparency is not an option, but a necessity in order to attract investors and visitors. The state of Qatar is seriously committed to develop the tourism sector as part of its belief in the ability of tourism to support the economy. The state of Qatar works on the issue of accountability by applying best practices in governance and to ensure partnership among government agencies. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate my appreciation to the Republic of Maldives and the brotherly Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as well as all the organizers. And we hope that this forum will come up with good recommendations that will give a boost to the economic development and meet the aspirations of our people. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Director, for your insights. Please welcome Mr. Abdullah Kohli, Registrar General and Anti-Corruption Focal Person at the Ministry of Justice of the Gambia, to take the floor. Mr. Abdullah Kohli.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to seize this opportunity to thank the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the government and people of the Maldives for organizing this important meeting. The Gambia is honored to take part in this significant meeting focused on combating corruption within the tourism sector. As a nation fondly referred to as the smiling coast of Africa, the Gambia relies on tourism as a key driver of economic development. Therefore, ensuring proper regulation of the sector to address corruption-related challenges is a priority for us. In our commitment to fostering transparency and accountability, the Gambia enacted the first ever anti-corruption legislation, the Anti-Corruption Act of 2023. The successful implementation of this act is eagerly anticipated by both the Gambian people and key stakeholders. In this regard, the Ministry of Justice has made substantial progress in finalizing the recruitment process for appointing commissioners. Candidates have undergone interviews and 8 names have been submitted to the President of the Republic of the Gambia for appointment, pending approval by the National Assembly. Since the Gambia is in the process of establishing its Anti-Corruption Commission for the first time, we seek the support of the OIC sister nations in areas such as capacity building and the exchange of valuable experiences. Corruption is a pervasive issue that must be tackled collectively due to its far-reaching consequences. We are privileged to be part of this meeting and extend our best wishes for a productive and insightful discussion. Thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kohli, for your statement. I now invite Mr. Ala Abid Uda Al-Qazai, Director General of the Iraqi Tourism Board, to deliver his remarks. Mr. Ala Abid Uda Al-Qazai.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الأخوة الحضور، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يعتبر العراق بلد الحضارات القديمة وأرض الأنبياء والأولياء والصالحين.
And the homeland of prophets and righteous saints is considered a symbol of cultural richness and history. Since ancient times, Iraq has embodied the values of justice as seen in the laws of the Babylonian kings, Hammurabi laws, that still stand tall in the Louvre Museum in Paris. Inscribed on his back, basalt stele confirming the importance of fighting corruption in all areas of life, so that people may live in peace and justice and have their rights protected. We are all in agreement that integrity is the foundation for building a strong and cohesive society that ensures individuals' rights. However, the most important point is the implementation of our visions, and the next steps must be focused on achieving the goals we gather here for today. At this respected forum, I shed light on the role of the Iraqi Commission of Integrity, which I represent, in promoting the values of integrity across all sectors, including tourism. Tourism is considered one of the vital sectors for economic and social development. Therefore, applying the integrity standards is essential to strengthening citizens' trust. Corruption negatively affects a country's image and ability to attract tourists. And that's why the Commission's role is centered around creating a tourism environment that is transparent, serving everyone equally. In 2025, Baghdad was chosen as the capital of Arab tourism, a title awarded to Arab cities that meet criteria defined by the Arab Tourism Organization. This selection was a recognition of significant efforts by the Iraqi government and local communities to revive the values of citizenship and a sense of responsibility, and to highlight the rich cultural and historical heritage of the city. The Commission has developed a strategic action plan to combat corruption and promote integrity through the following. First, enhancing the reputation of the tourist destination. Through honest treatment of tourists, there will be no fraud and no exploitation, and the availability of transparent services. Any perception of corruption would severely damage the country's tourism reputation. Number two, improving the tourist experience. When there are clear regulations and honest procedures for hotels and restaurants services, that will reflect on services provided. Transparency in official dealings, such as visa issuance, border inspections, and checkpoints, make tourism easier and smoother. Number three, preserving tourism resources through fighting corruption in the management of archaeological or natural sites, combating illegal hunting, and protecting wildlife and environment, and trying to prevent deterioration and distortion. Proper management of tourism projects should preserve historical and environment landmarks for future generations. Integrity is not just a moral value, rather it is an economic asset that boosts tourism growth. Transparency and integrity attract more tourists, improve a destination's reputation, and lead to sustainable development. In conclusion, we hope this forum will produce recommendations that enhance cooperation amongst OIC member states. We wish to thank the Republic of Maldives and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for sponsoring this esteemed forum, and we hope that this gathering will produce results in very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Al-Ghazai, for your contribution. Next, we invite Mr. Kodzu Koko Alphonse, Head of Division Studies Projects and at the Directorate of Planning and Tourism Development of Ministry of Tourism of Togo. Mr. Kodzu Koko Alphonse.
Excellences, autorités de la République de Maldives, distinguées autorités ici présentes, tout protocole observé, recevez le salut fraternel du Togo, un pays de paix, d'hospitalité et de destination prisée de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. De par son caractère multidimensionnel, le tourisme crée une dynamique sociale et environnementale qui le positionne incontestablement comme un moteur de croissance et de développement économique. Tenant compte de son importance, l'État togolais, sous la haute vision du président de la République, son Excellence Faure Eswatini Gnassingbé, et sur la base des orientations stimulantes de ses différents partenaires de promotion du secteur du tourisme, dont l'Organisation de coopération islamique, ne cesse de déployer les stratégies nécessaires pour son développement et sa compétitivité. Dans cette dynamique, le Togo a mis en place des mécanismes innovants pour une croissance touristique durable, tout en prenant soin de les arrimer aux différents leviers de lutte contre la corruption. Ainsi, le gouvernement togolais a choisi d'ériger le secteur du tourisme en secteur prioritaire avec pour objectif de créer une offre touristique de loisirs. Dans cette optique, plusieurs projets ont été lancés en partenariat privé-public avec pour finalité de stimuler l'investissement dans le secteur. Au même moment, ces initiatives intègrent systématiquement les règles établies à travers les mesures comme, entre autres, la création de la haute autorité de lutte contre la corruption et les infractions assimilées, l'instauration des procédures de passation des marchés publics sous contrôle et avis de plusieurs instances, la mise en place de principes cadres de gestion des budgets et de comptabilité publique, la digitalisation des opérations financières permettant la traçabilité de tous les mouvements comptables et financiers, l'instauration du suivi et évaluation et la reddition des comptes systématiques, et nous en passons. Le secteur du tourisme en tant qu'activité multisectorielle, mobilisant des flux économiques, sociaux et administratifs importants, est particulièrement exposé au risque de corruption, notamment dans les contextes institutionnels fragiles. Cette vulnérabilité est d'autant plus marquée dans les pays en développement comme le nôtre, où le tourisme est perçu comme un vecteur de devises, d'investissement et de prestige national, que le Togo salue l'initiative d'organisation de ce forum international sur l'intégrité dans le domaine du tourisme, qui se tient donc dans cette belle ville des Maldives et s'engage à prendre les dispositions qui s'imposent au fin d'une mise en œuvre efficace des orientations et des déclarations qui résulteront de cette importante rencontre. Nous vous remercions.
Thank you, Mr. Alphonse, for your remarks. I now welcome Dr. Basil Ajer, Director of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities at the Ministry of Tourism of Uganda, to the podium. Dr. Basil Ajer.
Your Excellencies and all the distinguished participants, I join the rest of the speakers to congratulate and appreciate the government of the Republic of Maldives for the wonderful preparation and welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, tourism is the bedrock of economic development in the modern economies. If you look through the statistics for 2024, about 1.44 billion international tourists traveled, and this accounts for about 99% of the recovery from the pre-COVID period. So meaning that when we are dealing with corruption in tourism, we are tackling a sector which is very important. There are countries which are landlocked, and the only opportunity that they have for attracting foreign exchange is largely from tourism, because not all countries have opportunities for coastal trade. For example, Uganda is a country which is highly endowed both in natural and cultural heritage resources. And the government is working hard to improve on other opportunities like in the education sector, oil and gas, aiming to improve on the destinations. Again, I come from Uganda, and it's a country which is endowed in terms of the natural resources like the lakes, the rivers, the mountains, and the different national parks. However, it has been mentioned here, we equally suffer from the risk of corruption, which manifests itself in many ways. However, the government of Uganda has put in place the Inspectorate of Government. An Inspectorate of Government has a threefold mandate, including anti-corruption, enforcement of leadership code, and the ombudsman's function. The sources of risk mostly witnessed in the country, one is manipulation of public procurement, where sometimes officials in government try to exaggerate prices and quotations in times of procurement. There are risks of wildlife trafficking, which involves illegal trade in wildlife parts and products, including some of them which are listed to be read in the World National Market Trade. There are risks of bribery in licensing and permits. For example, there are specific resources that a country has, and in the process of acquiring the permit, there are sometimes risks of bribery and others entering without payment. There are issues related to conflict of interest and nepotism. There are challenges related to land and illegal possession of public land. Some of the land which is actually encroached could be land which is used for conservation of wildlife resources, and this becomes a challenge. And also embezzlement of public funds. So in our country, in effort to address issues of corruption, the government of Uganda strengthened the legal and institutional framework, including effective enforcement of anti-corruption laws. Secondly, is to promote transparency and implementation of online interactions, for example, in licensing and giving permits, to minimize direct interface between the officials and the clients, building capacity of the public officials, especially the ones who are directly engaged in the tourism sector, so that they manage and they know how to address the issues that comes with corruption. Another strategy is to encourage community participation in local tourism planning and land use decision. And finally, it is to engage civil society and private sector by supporting the role of watchdog NGOs and investigative journalism in monitoring the tourism projects. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, combating corruption is not a one-off effort, but it's like a journey of preaching the gospel, or like preaching the Quran to the faithful. You don't expect that this meeting or one sitting can take away corruption, but it should be a continuous journey of training, engaging stakeholders, so that we are able to come with a comprehensive multi-stakeholder approach, and also it will help us to identify the risks proactively, implement them effectively, and we foster a tourism industry that is economically robust, transparent, fair, and inclusive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ajer, for your valued insights. Now I invite Mr. Yasin Said Chire, Director of Research and Education at the Independent National Commission for the Prevention and Fight Against Corruption of Djibouti, to share his address. Mr. Yasin Said Shire.
Excellences, Monsieur le Secrétaire général de l'Organisation de la coopération islamique, Excellences, Monsieur le Président de la Commission anticorruption de la République de Maldives, Excellences, Monsieur le Président de l'Autorité de contrôle et de lutte contre la corruption du Royaume d'Arabie saoudite, Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants des institutions internationales, chers partenaires du secteur touristique, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. C'est avec un immense honneur que je prends la parole aujourd'hui au nom de la République de Djibouti, carrefour de rencontres et d'échanges, et au nom de la présidente de la Commission nationale indépendante pour la prévention et la lutte contre la corruption. À l'occasion de ce forum dédié à l'intégrité dans le secteur touristique, je tiens à exprimer dès longtemps
our profound gratitude to the organizers of this initiative, and mainly the Republic of the Maldives, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and also the OIC for their commitment in favor of the promotion of integrity and good governance. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republic of Djibouti, in accordance with the International Convention, tourism is considered to be one of the pillars of economic diversity, and it is within this guideline that are subscribed the initiatives of March 2008 and also of sustainable development in Djibouti for the period 2019-24. Tourism, beyond the economic contribution, it is also a cultural image and an identity image of the country, mainly in cross-cultural dialogues, and also it's an attraction tool for the international scene. However, in order for this sector to prosper and in order to play its role, it needs to be developed within a climate of transparency, confidence, and integrity. And because of its dynamism and the multiplicity of stakeholders, in addition to its links with finance, development, etc., and banking, so it becomes vulnerable and it runs the risk of corruption. Among the factors that could lead to these risks, there is the heavy administrative procedures, financial speculations, and particularly in zones of high value, in addition to insufficient communication and coordination between different public institutions, and the lack of an efficient surveillance, and the importance of money flows, and the risk of money laundering and embezzlement. Dear ladies and gentlemen, in confronting such challenges, our countries, members of the OIC, they need to establish robust and important pillars in order to fight corruption within this vital sector. And on its side, the Republic of Djibouti already established control and oversight organs and has taken a number of measures, including the adoption of strong laws against corruption, including the establishment of the anti-corruption organ and judiciary procedures in order to fight all forms of corruption in all fields. And the importance of the role of the private sector, of media and civil society in promoting transparency and integrity.
and the fight against corruption. In order to guarantee transparency and good governance in PPP, public-private partnerships, and also to facilitate access to real estate by legislation that takes into account the environment and the dematerialization of the market procedures via digital means and tools which guarantee more transparency and shorter delays for all tourist projects to cooperate with regionally and internationally. So the establishment of an institutional and legal framework in order to regulate the tourism sector, this could facilitate the task. Ladies and gentlemen, behind our will to establish sustainable tourism, we need to share this spirit of sharing and in order to contribute to this promotion. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir, for your meaningful input. May I now welcome Assistant Professor Bakar Numan Muhammad, Advisor at the Supreme Court Anti-Corruption Chamber of Comoros. Assistant Professor Bakar Numan Muhammad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Excellences, Monsieur le Président de la session du Forum international sur l'intégrité, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres et membres du gouvernement, Mesdames et Messieurs les ambassadeurs ici présents, Monsieur le secrétaire général de l'OIC, distingués délégués, Mesdames et Messieurs, Assalamu alaikum. À l'occasion de cette auguste rencontre, l'honneur me choisit de prendre la parole devant cette noble assemblée, au nom de la Chambre anticorruption de l'Union des Comores, près la Cour suprême, et à mon nom personnel, pour remercier les organisateurs de ce forum et les autorités maldiviennes de l'accueil chaleureux.
Our thanks to the Maldivian and Saudi authorities for the hospitality and for organizing this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, our country is on the Mozambique Canal, and it is between Africa and Madagascar. This archipelago, thanks to its geographical situation and its hospitality, could receive a lot of tourists, but at the same time runs risks of many threats of corruption, and that could actually hamper the economy of the Comoros. And these Comoros Islands are called attract a lot of tourists from all over the world, and because but it is also facing the phenomenon of corruption, and this is why the state of the Comoros established a policy and a strategy against corruption on the national level. And to this effect, in order to concretize these policies, the National Assembly adopted a law number 23011 AU for 2023 on the prevention and the fight against corruption, that is promulgated by Decree 23-1/4 PR, and which allowed for the establishment of the Anti-Corruption Chamber by the Decree 24-065/2024. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to eradicate corruption in our countries is a big challenge for the development, for the economic development of every state of ours. We need to join efforts hand in hand in order to achieve the objective. Our determination to stop this phenomenon is undoubtedly the weapon that could actually make us achieve this objective and to stop all malicious people. The fight against corruption is complex, but it is necessary for all of us at all times and everywhere. In my quote as a delegate designated to represent the Anti-Corruption Chamber of the Comoros Union, I seize this opportunity to share with you the determination and the devotion of our chamber and of our country against money laundering and embezzlement. We participate in this forum because it is a capital opportunity to benefit from experiences and gains that will actually be shared during this forum by other partners. Long live international cooperation and long live our efforts. Thank you very much.
Now I invite Mr. Lai Wai Ki, Assistant Director at ICAC, representing International Association of Anti-Corruption Authorities, Hong Kong, China, to deliver his remarks. Mr. Lai Wai Ki.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vicky from the ICAC Hong Kong, China, and I'm also representing the International Association of Anti-Corruption Authorities. As my commissioner, Mr. Daniel, is currently the president of the association. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the Oversight and Anti-Corruption Authority of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Anti-Corruption Commission of the Republic of Maldives for the kind invitation to the ICAC China to participate in this esteemed forum. Ladies and gentlemen, tourism is a vital part of our economy, especially before the outbreak of the COVID-19, which contribute to about 3.6% of Hong Kong's GDP and employed around 230,000 persons, accounting for around 6% of the total employment. However, it is not without its challenges, particularly in managing the corruption risks. Corruption can manifest in various ways within this sector. Common risks include bribery during procurement processes, for selecting service providers, where decisions could be influenced by ulterior motives, resulting in corrupt connivance at substandard services. Furthermore, we see instances of bribery aimed at delivering business to competing tourist companies. Alongside the solicitation of unauthorized commissions in exchange for favoring specific shops, these issues pose a significant threat to the integrity and reputation of Hong Kong's vibrant tourism industry. Despite these challenges, fortunately, corruption in tourism industry in Hong Kong is well under control. And I'm happy to share our stories with other countries. A prime example lies in the establishment of the public-private partnerships. In Hong Kong, the Tourism Industry Authority is established for the licensing and regulation of the tourism industry. There's a close collaboration between the authority and Hong Kong ICAC, which has been instrumental in providing multifaceted corruption prevention services to industry players. Through various initiatives such as the publication of corruption prevention guides and training sections, the stakeholders have been engaged to promote and adopt ethical practices, contributing to the integrity of the sector. I would also like to highlight the impact of the Business Sector Integrity Charter, initiated by the ICAC with the support of local chambers of commerce. Companies joining the charter have to commit to implementing integrity processes, appointing an integrity officer to oversee and monitor the implementation, and ensuring that the integrity officer or senior management staff participate in annual integrity training organized by the ICAC. Currently, over 300 companies have joined the charter. reinforcing the commitments to ethical business practices. This charter serves as a landmark example of how PPP can co-build a property business environment in Hong Kong. In conclusion, tourism is a vital driver of economic development and a bridge connecting people and culture. In the face of future challenges and opportunities, we must unite more closely to explore new technologies, strategies, partnerships, and solutions in managing corruption risks in the tourism sector. I believe that through the friendships forged at this forum and our concerted efforts, we can foster a brighter and more sustainable future for the global tourism industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lai Waiki, for your enlightening remarks. Distinguished delegates, thank you for your continued engagement. Now, I have the honor of inviting the last speaker of the session, Mr. Augustine Fordane Gobi, Deputy Commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission of Sierra Leone, to deliver his address. Mr. Augustine Fordane Gobi.
His Excellency is present. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you greetings from the beautiful country of Sierra Leone in the west coast of Africa, a country known for its huge tourism potentials. We are also known for our beautiful white sand beaches, lining Freetown Peninsula, the Cotton Hill Landmark, forest reserves, Loma Mountain, Lake Stomford, etc. There is also the National Museum, the Bounce Island, which was a key departure point for the export of slaves for the slave trade. According to Sierra Leone Medium-Term National Development Plan, tourism is one of the main enablers the government of Sierra Leone has identified to diversify the economy and promote growth. However, Sierra Leone has not been able to significantly tap from its huge tourism potentials as the sector itself faces its own unique set of challenges, including corruption. Incidences of bribery, kickbacks, misappropriation of public funds are the most common forms of corruption in the sector. Sierra Leone has effectively employed the country's Anti-Corruption Act 2008 as amended in 2019, the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, and the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, to mainstream integrity, transparency, and accountability in the sector. The measures we have employed over the years in tackling corruption, including corruption in the tourism sector, include the high-level principles of combating corruption and strengthening integrity in the tourism sector. Our multi-pronged approach includes public education, prevention, investigations, prosecution, and the non-conviction asset-based recovery. As a mark of our commitment, in October 2019, we received a report that our health officials at one of our border posts demanded for a bribe from 2 tourists entering our country. We swiftly ordered their arrest, investigation, and prosecuted the 2 officials. We also retrieved the money from the officials and return it to the tourist. However, the medium-term National Development Plan highlights more serious challenges facing the sector, including ineffective regulatory policy frameworks, inadequate and outdated overall tourism planning. Another critical issue in the poor shape of tangible cultural heritage sites and monuments and inadequate basic tourism infrastructure. For these reasons, I call on you, especially affluent nations, to provide the needed support for our tourism sector. And I assure you that you'll be welcome to invest in the sector. Let me conclude by thanking Saudi Arabia and the Republic of Maldives for jointly organizing this conference. I thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, thank you once again for your participation today. As we come to the end of day one of the forum, I would like to express our gratitude for the engaging discussions and the valuable insights shared by all of you. We have delved into key topics around integrity, transparency, and accountability in the tourism sector, focusing on the importance of public-private partnerships, ethical frameworks, and regulatory measures. Your contributions have been vital in shaping today's conversations.
As we wrap up, please remember that this is just the beginning. Tomorrow promises to be just as insightful with panel discussions and presentations by industry experts. A heartfelt thank you to our distinguished speakers and to all of you for making today a success. Please take the time to reflect on what we have discussed, and we look forward to seeing you bright and early tomorrow for day 2. Before we conclude, I would like to kindly remind all participants to leave their translation devices on your tables before you leave the conference hall. Your cooperation is much appreciated.
For the local participants who joined us from Male City today, please note that transportation has been arranged for your convenience. I kindly ask that you follow our protocol officers who will guide you to the resort jetty area. Once again, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Wishing you all a restful evening ahead. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.